Burundi is a small country in Central East Africa bordered by Tanzania, Rwanda, the Democratic Republic of Congo, and Lake Tanganyika. Burundi gained its independence from Belgium in 1962. Much of its history has been marked by political violence and non-democratic transfers of power. Burundi's first democratically elected president, a Hutu, was assassinated in October 1993 after only 100 days in office. The internationally brokered Arusha Agreement, signed in 2000, and subsequent ceasefire agreements with armed movements ended the 1993-2005 civil war. Burundi's second democratic elections were held in 2005. Pierre Nkurunziza was elected president in 2005 and 2010, and again in a controversial election in 2015. Burundi continues to face many economic and political challenges.
Geography.
Burundi.
Location: Central Africa, east of the Democratic Republic of the Congo, west of Tanzania.
Geographic coordinates: 330s, 3000e.
Map references: Africa.
Area: total
27,830 square kilometers.
Land:
25,680 square kilometers.
Water:
2,150 square kilometers.
Country comparison to the world:
147.
Area: comparative, slightly smaller than Maryland.
Land boundaries: total
1,140 kilometers.
Border countries: 3.
Democratic Republic of the Congo 236 kilometers, Rwanda 315 kilometers, Tanzania 589 kilometers.
Coastline: 0 kilometers. Landlocked.
Maritime claims: none. Landlocked.
Climate: equatorial, high plateau with considerable altitude variation, 772 m to 2,670 m above sea level. Average annual temperature varies with altitude from 23 to 17 degrees Celsius but is generally moderate as the average altitude is about 1,700 m. Average annual rainfall is about 150 centimeters. 2 wet seasons, February to May and September to November, and 2 dry seasons, June to August and December to January.
Terrain: hilly and mountainous, dropping to a plateau in east. Some plains.
Elevation: mean elevation
1,504 meters.
Elevation extremes:
772 meters lowest point.
Lake Tanganyika
2670 highest point.
Heha.
Natural resources: nickel, uranium, rare earth oxides, peat, cobalt, copper, platinum, vanadium, arable land, hydropower, niobium, tantalum, gold, tin, tungsten, kaolin, limestone.
Land use: agricultural land
73.3%.
Arable land
38.9%. Permanent crops
15.6% / permanent pasture
18.8%.
Forest
6.6%.
Other
20.1%.
Irrigated land 230 square kilometers.
Population distribution: one of Africa's most densely populated countries. Concentrations tend to be in the north and along the northern shore of Lake Tanganyika in the west. Most people live on farms near areas of fertile volcanic soil.
Natural hazards: flooding, landslides, drought.
Environment: current issues: soil erosion as a result of overgrazing and the expansion of agriculture into marginal lands, deforestation. Little forested land remains because of uncontrolled cutting of trees for fuel. Habitat loss threatens wildlife populations.
Environment: international agreements. Party to.
Biodiversity: climate change Kyoto Protocol, desertification, endangered species, hazardous wastes, ozone layer protection, wetlands.
Signed, but not ratified.
Law of the sea.
Geography. Note: landlocked. Straddles crest of the Nile-Congo watershed. The Kagera, which drains into Lake Victoria, is the most remote headstream of the White Nile.
People and society.
Burundi.
Population: 11,844,520.
Note:
estimates for this country explicitly take into account the effects of excess mortality due to AIDS. This can result in lower life expectancy, higher infant mortality, higher death rates, lower population growth rates, and changes in the distribution of population by age and sex than would otherwise be expected.
Country comparison to the world.
76.
Nationality: noun.
Burundians.
Adjective:
Burundian.
Ethnic groups: Hutu 85%, Tutsi 14%, Twa Pygmy, 1%, Europeans 3,000, South Asians 2,000.
Languages. Kirundi 29.7%, official, Kirundi and other language 9.1%, French, official, French and other language 0.3%, Swahili, Swahili and other language 0.2%, along Lake Tanganyika and in the Bujumbura area, English, official, English and other language 0.06%, more than two languages 3.7%, unspecified 56.9%.
Note:
Data represent language read and written by people 10 years of age or older. Spoken Kirundi is nearly universal.
Religions. Roman Catholic 62.1%, Protestant 23.9%, includes Adventist 2.3% and other Protestant 21.6%, Muslim 2.5%, other 3.6%, unspecified 7.9%.
Demographic profile. Burundi is a densely populated country with a high population growth rate. Factors that combined with land scarcity and poverty place a large share of its population at risk of food insecurity. About 90% of the population relies on subsistence agriculture. Subdivision of land to sons, and redistribution to returning refugees, results in smaller, overworked, and less productive plots. Food shortages, poverty, and a lack of clean water contribute to a 60% chronic malnutrition rate among children. A lack of reproductive health services has prevented a significant reduction in Burundi's maternal mortality and fertility rates, which are both among the world's highest. With 2/3 of its population under the age of 25 and a birth rate of about 6 children per woman, Burundi's population will continue to expand rapidly for decades to come, putting additional strain on a poor country.
Historically, migration flows into and out of Burundi have consisted overwhelmingly of refugees from violent conflicts. In the last decade, more than 500,000 Burundian refugees returned home from neighboring countries, mainly Tanzania. Reintegrating the returnees has been problematic due to their prolonged time in exile, land scarcity, poor infrastructure, poverty, and unemployment. Repatriates and existing residents, including internally displaced persons, compete for limited land and other resources. To further complicate matters, international aid organizations reduced their assistance because they no longer classified Burundi as a post-conflict country. Conditions have deteriorated since renewed violence erupted in April 2015, causing another outpouring of refugees. In addition to refugee outmigration, Burundi has hosted thousands of refugees from neighboring countries, mostly from the Democratic Republic of the Congo and lesser numbers from Rwanda.
Age structure. 0-14 years.
45.52%. Male 2,712,836. Female 2,678,223.
15-24 years.
19.21%. Male 1,135,145. Female 1,139,717.
25-54 years.
28.7%. Male 1,694,547. Female 1,704,369.
55-64 years.
3.89%. Male 218,272. Female 242,855.
65 years and over.
2.69%. Male 137,590. Female 180,966.
Population pyramid.
Population pyramid.
Dependency ratios. Total dependency ratio.
89.6.
Youth dependency ratio.
84.8.
Elderly dependency ratio.
4.7.
Potential support ratio.
21.1.
Median age, total.
17.1 years.
Male.
16.8 years.
Female.
17.3 years.
Country comparison to the world.
221.
Population growth rate, 3.23%.
Country comparison to the world.
4.
Birth rate, 40.9 births out of 1,000 population.
Country comparison to the world.
7.
Death rate, 8.6 deaths out of 1,000 population.
Country comparison to the world.
74.
Net migration rate, 0 migrant, S, out of 1,000 population.
Country comparison to the world.
77.
Population distribution. One of Africa's most densely populated countries, concentrations tend to be in the north and along the northern shore of Lake Tanganyika in the west. Most people live on farms near areas of fertile volcanic soil.
Urbanization. Urban population.
13% of total population.
Rate of urbanization.
5.68% annual rate of change.
Major urban areas. Population 899,000. Bujumbura, capital.
Sex ratio, at birth.
1.02 male every 1 female.
0-14 years.
1.01 male every 1 female.
15-24 years.
1 male every 1 female.
25-54 years.
1 male every 1 female.
55-64 years.
0.89 male every 1 female.
65 years and over.
0.74 male every 1 female.
Total population.
0.99 male every 1 female.
Mother's mean age at first birth, 21.3 years.
Note.
Median age at first birth among women 25-29.
Maternal mortality rate 712 deaths/100,000 live births.
Country comparison to the world.
8.
Infant mortality rate, total.
57.4 deaths out of 1,000 live births.
Male.
63.7 deaths out of 1,000 live births.
Female.
50.9 deaths out of 1,000 live births.
Country comparison to the world.
18.
Life expectancy at birth, total population.
61.4 years.
Male.
59.6 years.
Female.
63.2 years.
Country comparison to the world.
203.
Total fertility rate, 5.93 children born, woman.
Country comparison to the world.
3.
Contraceptive prevalence rate 28.5%. 2016 to 17.
Health expenditures, 7.5% of GDP.
Country comparison to the world.
65.
Hospital bed density 0.8 beds out of 1,000 population.
Drinking water source, improved.
Urban
91.1% of population.
Rural
73.8% of population.
Total
75.9% of population.
Unimproved.
Urban
8.9% of population.
Rural
26.2% of population.
Total
24.1% of population.
Sanitation facility access, improved.
Urban
43.8% of population.
Rural
48.6% of population.
Total
48% of population.
Unimproved.
Urban
56.2% of population.
Rural
51.4% of population.
Total
52% of population.
HIV/AIDS, adult prevalence rate 1.1%.
Country comparison to the world.
41.
HIV/AIDS, people living with HIV/AIDS, 78,000.
Country comparison to the world.
48.
HIV/AIDS, deaths, 1,700.
Country comparison to the world.
56.
Major infectious diseases, degree of risk.
Very high.
Food or waterborne diseases.
Bacterial and protozoal diarrhea, hepatitis A, and typhoid fever.
Vector-borne diseases.
Malaria and dengue fever.
Water contact diseases.
Schistosomiasis.
Animal contact diseases.
Rabies.
Obesity. Adult prevalence rate, 5.4%.
Country comparison to the world.
178.
Children under the age of 5 years underweight, 29.3%.
Country comparison to the world.
10.
Education expenditures, 5.4% of GDP.
Country comparison to the world.
54.
Literacy, definition.
Age 15 and over can read and write.
Total population.
85.6%.
Male.
88.2%.
Female.
83.1%.
School life expectancy, primary to tertiary education, total.
11 years.
Male.
11 years.
Female.
11 years.
Unemployment, youth ages 15-24, total.
2.9%.
Male.
4.4%.
Female.
2%.
Country comparison to the world.
164.
Government.
Burundi.
Country name, conventional long form.
Republica Burundi.
Conventional short form.
Burundi.
Local long form.
République du Burundi/Republica u Burundi.
Local short form.
Burundi.
Former.
Burundi, German East Africa, Kingdom of Burundi.
Etymology.
Name derived from the pre-colonial Kingdom of Burundi, 17th to the 19th century.
Government type, Presidential Republic.
Capital, name.
Bujumbura.
Geographic coordinates.
322s, 2921e.
Time difference.
UTC +2, 7 hours ahead of Washington, D.C. during standard time.
Note:
In January 2019, the Burundian parliament voted to move the capital from Bujumbura to Gitega by 2021.
Administrative divisions: 18 provinces: Bubanza, Bujumbura Mairie, Bujumbura Rural, Bururi, Cankuzo, Chibitoke, Gitega, Karuzi, Kayanza, Kirundo, Makamba, Muramva, Muinga, Muro, Ngozi, Rumonge, Rutana, Ruigi.
Independence. The 1st of July 1962. From UN trusteeship under Belgian administration.
National holiday: Independence Day, the 1st of July, 1962.
Constitution. History.
Several previous, latest ratified by referendum the 28th of February 2005.
Amendments.
Proposed by the President of the Republic after consultation with the government or by absolute majority support of the membership in both Houses of Parliament. Passage requires at least 2/3 majority vote by the Senate membership and at least 4/5 majority vote by the National Assembly. The President can opt to submit amendment bills to a referendum. Constitutional articles including those on national unity, the secularity of Burundi, its democratic form of government, and its sovereignty cannot be amended. Amended 2018.
Legal system. Mixed legal system of Belgian civil law and customary law.
International Law Organization participation has not submitted an ICJ jurisdiction declaration. Withdrew from it in October 2017.
Citizenship. Citizenship by birth.
No.
Citizenship by descent only.
The father must be a citizen of Burundi.
Dual citizenship recognized.
No.
Residency requirement for naturalization.
10 years.
Suffrage. 18 years of age. Universal.
Executive branch. Chief of State.
President Pierre Nkurunziza, since the 26th of August 2005. First Vice President Gaston Sindimwo, since the 20th of August 2015, Second Vice President Joseph Tor, since the 20th of August 2015. Note: the President is both Chief of State and Head of Government.
Head of Government.
President Pierre Nkurunziza, since the 26th of August 2005, First Vice President Gaston Sindimwo, since the 20th of August 2015, Second Vice President Joseph Tor, since the 20th of August 2015.
Cabinet.
Council of Ministers appointed by President.
Elections/appointments.
President directly elected by absolute majority popular vote in 2 rounds if needed for a 5-year term. Eligible for a second term. Election last held on the 21st of July 2015. Next to be held in 2020. Vice Presidents nominated by the President, endorsed by Parliament. Note: a 2018 constitutional referendum effective for the 2020 election, approved reinstatement of the Prime Minister position, reduced the number of Vice Presidents from 2 to 1, and increased the presidential term from 5 to 7 years with a 2 consecutive term limit.
Election results.
Pierre Nkurunziza re-elected President, percent of vote. Pierre Nkurunziza, CNDD-FDD 69.4%. Agathon Waza, Hope of Burundians, Amizero Burundi 19%, other 11.6%.
Legislative branch. Description.
Bicameral parliament or parliament consists of
Senator Indaman Kengazamateka, 43 seats in the July 2015 election, 36 members indirectly elected by an electoral college of provincial councils using a 3-round voting system, which requires a 2/3 majority vote in the first 2 rounds and simple majority vote for the 2 leading candidates in the final round. 4 seats reserved for former heads of state, 3 seats reserved for TWAs, and 30% of all votes reserved for women. Members serve 5-year terms.
National Assembly or Inamunshingamateka, 121 seats in the June 2015 election. 100 members directly elected in multi-seat constituencies by proportional representation votes and 21 co-opted members, 60% of seats allocated to Hutu and 40% to Tutsi, 3 seats reserved for Twas, 30% of total seats reserved for women. Members serve 5-year terms.
Elections. Senate. Last held on the 24th of July 2015, next to be held in 2019.
National Assembly. Last held on the 29th of June 2015, next to be held in 2020.
Election results. Senate. Percent of vote by party. NA. Seats by party. CNF 33. Fro Debu 2. CNF 1. Former heads of state 4. TWAS 3. Women 8. Composition. Men 25. Women 18. Percent of women 41.9%.
National Assembly, percent of vote by party, CNDD-FDD 60.3%, Independence of Hope 11.2%, UPRONA 2.5%, other 26%, seats by party, CNDD-FDD 77, Independence of Hope 21, UPRONA 2, women 18, TWAS 3, composition, men 77, women 44%, of women 36.4%, note, total parliament percent of women 37.8%.
Judicial branch, highest courts.
Supreme Court, consists of 9 judges and organized into judicial, administrative, and cassation chambers. Constitutional Court, consists of 7 members.
Judge selection in term of office.
Supreme Court judges nominated by the Judicial Service Commission, a 15-member independent body of judicial and legal profession officials, appointed by the President and confirmed by the Senate. Judge tenure. Constitutional Court judges appointed by the President and confirmed by the Senate and serve 6-year non-renewable terms.
Subordinate courts.
Courts of Appeal, County Courts, Courts of Residence, Martial Court, Court Against Corruption, Commercial Court, Commerce Court.
Political parties and leaders. Front for Democracy in Burundi or Frodebu, Kefanabizi.
Hope of Burundians, Amizero Ua Burundi, Agathon Waza, Charles Nditai.
Movement for Solidarity in Development or MSD, Alexis Sayanduij.
National Council for the Defense of Democracy or CNDD, Leonard Nyangoma.
National Council for the Defense of Democracy, Front for the Defense of Democracy or CNFD, Evariste Ndayishimiye.
National Liberation Forces or FNL, Jacques Bigitamana.
Union for National Progress, Union pour le Progrès Nationale, or APRONA, Abel Gashatsi.
International Organization Participation, ACP, FDB, O, CIMAC, SEPGL, SICA, COMESA, IAC, FAO, G77, IBRD, ICAO, ICT, ICRM, IDA, IFAT, IFC, IFX, ILO, IMF, Interpol, IOC, IAM, IPU, ISO, Correspondent, ITU, ITUC, NGOs, MEGA, NAM, OIF, OPCW, UN, UNAMID, UNCTAD, UNESCO, UNIDO, UNISFA, UNTO, UPU, WCO, WHO, WIPO, WMO, WTO.
Diplomatic representation in the U.S. Chief of Mission.
Ambassador, vacant, charge d'affaires Benjamin Manira Kaiser, since the 7th of December 2017.
Chancery.
2233 Wisconsin Avenue Northwest, Suite 408, Washington, D.C. 20007.
Telephone.
12023422574.
Fax.
12023422578.
Diplomatic representation from the U.S. Chief of Mission.
Ambassador Ann S. Casper, since the 20th of October 2016.
Embassy.
Avenue des Etats Unis, Bujumbura.
Mailing address.
BP 1720, Bujumbura.
Telephone.
257 22 207 000.
Fax.
257 22 200 and 22 926.
Flag description divided by a white diagonal cross into red panels, top and bottom, and green panels, hoist side and fly side, with a white disc superimposed at the center bearing 3 red 6-pointed stars outlined in green arranged in a triangular design, 1 star above, 2 stars below. Green symbolizes hope and optimism, white purity and peace, and red the bloodshed in the struggle for independence. The 3 stars in the disc represent the 3 major ethnic groups,
Hutu, Twa, Tutsi, as well as the 3 elements in the national motto:
unity, work, progress.
National symbols: lion, national colors,
Red, white, green.
National anthem, name,
Burundi, Waku, a beloved Burundi.
lyrics, music.
Jean Baptiste Ndakaya / Mark Berengayabo.
Note:
Adopted 1962.
Economy.
Burundi.
Economy. Overview: Burundi is a landlocked, resource-poor country with an underdeveloped manufacturing sector. Agriculture accounts for over 40% of GDP and employs more than 90% of the population. Burundi's primary exports are coffee and tea, which account for more than half of foreign exchange earnings, but these earnings are subject to fluctuations in weather and international coffee and tea prices. Burundi is heavily dependent on aid from bilateral and multilateral donors, as well as foreign exchange earnings from participation in the African Union mission to Somalia, AMISOM. Foreign aid represented 48% of Burundi's national income in 2015, one of the highest percentages in sub-Saharan Africa, but this figure decreased to 33.5% in 2016 due to political turmoil surrounding President Nkurunziza's bid for a third term. Burundi joined the East African Community, EAC, in 2009.
Burundi faces several underlying weaknesses: low governmental capacity, corruption, a high poverty rate, poor educational levels, a weak legal system, a poor transportation network, and overburdened utilities that have prevented the implementation of planned economic reforms. The purchasing power of most Burundians has decreased as wage increases have not kept pace with inflation, which reached approximately 18% in 2017.
Real GDP growth dropped precipitously following political events in 2015 and has yet to recover to pre-conflict levels. Continued resistance by donors and the international community will restrict Burundi's economic growth as the country deals with a large current account deficit.
GDP, purchasing power parity, $8.007 billion.
$8.007 billion.
$8.091 billion.
Note:
data in 2017 dollars.
Country comparison to the world.
164.
GDP, official exchange rate, $3.396 billion.
GDP, real growth rate, 0%.
-1%.
-4%.
Country comparison to the world.
196.
GDP, per capita. PPP, $700.
$800.
$800.
Note:
data are in 2017 dollars.
Country comparison to the world.
227.
Gross national saving, -5.3% of GDP.
-4.1% of GDP.
-6.7% of GDP.
Country comparison to the world.
183.
GDP, composition, by end use. Household consumption.
83%.
Government consumption.
20.8%.
Investment in fixed capital.
16%.
Investment in inventories.
0%.
Exports of goods and services.
5.5%.
Imports of goods and services.
-25.3%.
GDP, composition, by sector of origin. Agriculture.
39.5%.
Industry.
16.4%.
Services.
44.2%.
Agriculture, products. Coffee, cotton, tea, corn, beans, sorghum, sweet potatoes, bananas, cassava, manioc, tapioca, beef, milk, hides.
Industries, light consumer goods, sugar, shoes, soap, beer, cement, assembly of imported components, public works construction, food processing, fruits.
Industrial production growth rate, -2%.
Country comparison to the world.
182.
Labor force, 5.012 million.
Country comparison to the world.
83.
Labor force, by occupation. Agriculture,